Hello, guys, and welcome to Cricket Caviar. Pleased to bring to you the news that Sanat Jaisuriya's contract has been extended for one more year. Before going to the tour of England, he had said, "I'm just the interim coach, and just take me as an interim coach. I'm not the permanent coach of Sri Lankan cricket." But he has transformed Lankan cricket, brought back the glory days of Lankan cricket. They are dominating at home. This is the fifth highest lead that any team has got. They scored 602 runs and dismissed the opposition for 88 all out, and then they have won by an innings and 100 plus runs. So it's an amazing win for Sri Lankan cricket. Prabhat Jayasuriya has picked his ninth fifer in his 16th test, and Nishan Paris, the debutant, also picked up a fifer today, 6 wickets for Jayasuriya and Paris, both in first and second innings respectively. And you were mentioning, Pratik, I saw
Yeah.
your video. You were mentioning about Dhananjay De Silva's catching. But I think the best thing that I would like to say about this test match was actually in the second innings when New Zealand finally found a way how to play the turning wickets in Sri Lanka. They went out all attack. They scored at a run rate of 4.40 today, and they scored 360 runs, which if they would have earlier played like that, they would have had some more success. But unfortunately, they learned a bit too late, and they played well, to be honest, except for that mega choker, Daryl Mitchell, who is
Yeah.
as useless as it gets. Everyone contributed very nicely. And the best moment, yeah, I was talking about the best moment. So Kane Williamson was actually playing really well, and he steps out to hit a
Dhananjay.
six
Dhananjay.
or a four over the mid wicket, and that was actually Nishan Perez's first wicket of the second innings. Then he went on to pick 6 wickets. And guess who took a brilliant catch in the deep? It was Ramesh Mendis, the guy Nishan Perez had
Sub
replaced
replay.
to make his debut. And Ramesh Mendis was there on as a substitute, and he took that brilliant catch. So
And the
that was a
camera work
great
was very
moment.
poor. It looked like it went for a six, like the catch is dropped or something. The camera work was very poor for that.
Yeah, yeah. And it was actually perfectly placed by, not perfectly, but nearly perfectly placed by Kane Williamson. He was looking to, find that gap. And Ramesh Mendis covered some good ground and
Yeah.
took that catch. And kudos to Sri Lankan fielding. Today they dropped some few catches. Actually, Kamindu Mendis dropped a catch in second slip. Then he was replaced by Patum Nisanka there. But apart from that, yeah, man, Sri Lankans were too good for New Zealand, and it's a deserved hammering that New Zealanders have got there. And like I said, this is the curse of Neil Wagner, which is affecting New Zealand cricket. You did a great injustice to a great servant like Neil Wagner by not giving him a farewell test, which he deserved. And look now where your cricket is right now. You lost to Australia at home. You lost to Sri Lanka now. So you are down and out in the points table of WTC. The
Yes.
only win you got was because South Africa fielded a C team versus you, and that too at home, and you were able to get that win. Apart from that, you have been clueless, and you will be shut out in India too. I'm not much hopeful except Santner. I don't think anyone knows how to play spin. Santner, Blundell, and Phillips today showed some amount of confidence against spin. Apart from that, no one has any clue about how to play spin. In fact, Daryl Mitchell, I used to rate him so highly that
Yeah.
he's such a good player of spin, but he has disappointed me a lot. He dropped 2 catches actually earlier in the first day. He's been absolutely pathetic in the field, absolutely
He
pathetic
needs
with
to
the
be dropped.
bat. And he bowled some useless overs, and which totally looked non-threatening, and he was smashed by Kusal Mendes there also.
And you know
So
whose position he took in the test team? A perfect test cricketer, Henry Nichols. I think it's time to bring
yeah,
back Henry Nichols. So, and what did
absolutely.
Saudi do? 2 wickets in the entire series, man. Even Roorkee took 8 wickets in the first match. So
Actually,
Saudi was also as useless as Daryl Mitchell.
before the series, I had a bet that he will not even take 5 wickets in this series, and that has come true. He took only 2 wickets,
He
and
was the
below
worst
Roorkee,
pacer in the whole series.
He was the worst pacer, and Willow Rourke also suffered because of him, because he was not getting the support from Saudi, because he looked brilliant in that first test, and that was the only time actually New Zealand looked, when Willow Rourke was on fire
Yeah.
in the first innings, and they were 106. Sri Lanka were 106 for 5 at that time. That was the
But then
only
also, man,
moment where
Kamindu Mendes came to the fork and helped them, right? He hit a fantastic 100. He's hit 100 in both the test matches. So, yeah,
absolutely. He is the
that was
crisis
the
man.
point
I
I
think
was
he was
going to
the
bring.
player of the series today, right? And I was just seeing the press conference. Both Dhananjay De Silva and Kamindu Mendes were talking, but they were speaking in Sinhalese, so I couldn't understand much.
Hmm.
But good to see that Dhananjay De Silva carried uh, Kamindu Mendes to the press conference. And Dhananjay De Silva also, I mean, look at when Conway was, first of all, Devon Conway is so badly out of form, but he was flowing yesterday, right? He was scoring runs at a very quick pace.
60 of
He
60
got,
something, yeah.
yeah, he got 62. And it was Dhananjay De Silva actually who made the first breakthrough. Flighted the ball in the air and
He's so
played a
useful, yeah.
mistimed shot by Devon Conway. And from there, the collapse again started for the second innings as well. So terrific, man. I mean, the whole environment and uh, around Sri Lankan cricket right now is so good to see, and it reminds us of our childhood days in the 90s when Sri Lanka were such a formidable opponents that we Indians even used to, fear going to play a test series in Sri Lanka, and they have made Galle a fortress, actually, literally. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And the
Pratik,
environment in the
over
goal
to you.
is, yeah. First of all, congratulations to Sri Lanka. Well deserved 2-0 win. Even I want to go back to first test match where I thought New Zealand has a very good chance, like 150 for 6, even though it was turning 150 for 4, even though it was turning square.
Mm,
But they never panicked. Even from 150 for 4, they
mm,
were sure like another 120 runs is gonna be very difficult and we're gonna make it difficult for them. And they were
mm,
easily able to defend that total because
mm.
New Zealand actually did score more than Sri Lanka in the first innings, but
Yes,
they,
yes.
they did not let any pressure come to it. And New Zealand just has a showy batting. Like on paper, it looks an amazing batting order. You have Conway, you have experience of then Kane Williamson, Tom Latham, who I hate, but again he's an experienced player. Then you have Mitchell, and you have Blundell, who plays very good spin. And so you like, and then Rachin Ravindra and Santner. So you have a huge batting lineup. So to
Yeah,
defeat
yeah.
that batting lineup in any conditions, I would say it's a very good achievement because this team does have the batting lineup to show, but they were put under so much pressure, and 88 all out was just a mockery of that kind of a batting
And
lineup.
today Prabhat Jasuria was nearing another record, Pratik. Today he was about to become, if he would have taken three more wickets, he would have become the joint fastest man to reach 100 test wickets. And it was someone in the 1900 40s, that 30s or 40s. There was a South African guy named George Lohmann
Mm.
who was the only person who reached 100 wickets in 16 tests. So it would have been incredible, but still being the second highest wicket taker in history after playing 16 tests is incredible. And
He's
Prabhat Jasuria's story is also very interesting, that he was declared unfit by Mickey Arthur, who used to prefer Lasith Embuldenia.
oh yeah,
Actually, today I also heard about another record that
Embuldenia was
Dhananjaya
also good.
catching. I think you also mentioned it in your previous video. So Dhananjaya catching of
Of
Prabhat
Prabhat
Jayasuriya.
deliveries, five of
Yeah,
them.
5 times. That has happened in Sri Lankan cricket before also. It was Lahiru Tiramanne catching off Lasith Embuldenia's bowling. So this is happening for the second
Was he a
time in Sri.
wicketkeeper? No, or just a slip fielder?
No, he was also a slip catcher,
Because I was again
not a
thinking
wicket.
it will be rare for a slip fielder to do these catches. Like sure, I've seen
Yeah.
so many times like McGrath caught Gilchrist. That used to happen a lot because he used to bowl
Yes.
that line and length. But for a slip
Yeah.
fielder to take 5 catches of the same bowler, it's definitely unique.
Yeah. It used to happen with Mark Wall or
Shane Warne
Bob
caught,
McGrath.
yeah.
And also Dravid and Kumble used to do it a
Dravid
lot.
and Kumble had very successful, yeah.
And Jayawardene and Murli also.
Yeah.
Jayawardene and Murli also
That,
had a good
I was gonna
partnership.
guess that
So
actually. You said Therimane and Abul. That's a very good quiz question because I was
yeah.
gonna guess Jayawardene and Murli.
But coming back to topic, like Mickey Arthur had declared Prabhat Jayasuriya unfit, and even in that England tour, we were like criticizing Prabhat Jasuria, because it was his
How can this guy be
removal
unfit? He
from the
bowled
team.
71 overs in the first test match. Mickey Arthur,
Yeah,
it's good that Pakistan and Sri Lanka have got rid of him.
of course, man. Mickey Arthur was so wrong in his assessment. Guy has bowled 71 overs in the first test match, and he actually bowled 30 overs wicketless in the first test match. And then in this first innings, he was just so good. He was able to land in that perfect spot, and incredible, man. Prabhat Jasuria.
Man, he just reminds me
Uh,
of Ashwin, like how India is comfortable at home when Ashwin is there, right? I think Sri
hmm,
Lanka has the same sense of comfort when Prabhat is playing at home. And we have seen Ashwin also, even though he has 600 test wickets, sometimes it does take him 20, 30 overs to find success. But
yes,
once he does
yes,
that, then he's on a roll. And Prabhat has a similar knack of picking wickets once he's on a roll. So,
absolutely.
and I
But
would
I
say in
would
terms of skills,
also.
also, they are very much equal. Like they're probably both the best bowlers, like
Hmm.
most difficult bowlers to face at home. Like, yeah.
And also, I think Pratik, New Zealand made a mistake of not taking care of variety because they had Santner, their Ajaz Patel, and their Rachin Ravindra. Three left arm
Yeah,
spinners were going into
good.
the test team. So you could have had a variety. You could have had someone like Ish Sodhi or Glenn Phillips was the only off spinner. You could have thought about a more regular off spinner. Uh,
Mm.
so I thought there was no variety in New Zealand spin bowling attack, which they should think about when they come to India. They should think of making some changes to that squad. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it will be very, very difficult for them to win
So
here.
another reason for Sri Lanka's this win, obviously one is Prabhat Jasuria, 18 wickets out of 40.
Hmm.
So you can imagine like he's taking 4.5 wickets every innings. But then
Hmm.
another reason is Dinesh Chandimal. Like sure, Camendo Mendes is a
Hmm.
star, Prabhat Jasuria is a star. Like
Hmm.
the way Mendes, sorry, Chandimal has changed. He started taking
Hmm.
responsibility in the last 3 years. I was
Hmm.
looking it up, like who has the highest test average in last 3 years, and the answer was Chandimal. And I was not surprised. Average of 60 in tough
Hmm.
conditions and in the very difficult role. Number four around the world is like actually the most difficult these days. We have seen
Hmm.
Rahane and Pujara playing in those similar roles, lost their place. We have seen Steve Smith also not, Labuschagne not able to keep his same form. We have seen
Yeah.
like so
Kohli is
many
actually
players
number
falling.
4 for India, and he has been also quite poor.
So
But
in that role, I
yeah, I
think
would.
average of 60 is like tremendous, tremendous. And he made
Yeah,
60 of 150, very fighting innings in the first test match, 60 of 150. So much effort and
and Chandimal was called the Virat Kohli of Sri Lanka long back when he was in 2011. I remember that's when he made
he's
his
been playing
debut.
for a while. Yep, he's been playing
Yeah,
for a
he
long
and he's actually like his style resembles that of modern day. He's called the modern day Aravinda De Silva because Aravinda De Silva was known as Mad Max, who used to cut loose and pull hook,
time.
play lot of strokes, and he used to get out sometimes very frustratingly. So Sri Lankan fans would give him the nickname of Mad Max because they were like, is this a mad guy or what? So Chandimal also had the similar journey. Like he used to get out and people used to be frustrated why he looks so
So good.
attacking and aggressive. His approach is so refreshing. His knock of 268 versus India in 2015, where they turned around the lead of 200 or something runs. I mean,
Yeah.
that is just an incredible lead, and how Sri
And
Lanka won
how in
that in the
2022
fourth innings.
single-handedly he changed the fortune against that Australia series where Sri Lanka was gonna lose at home, but he changed the fortunes of that
Yeah,
series. Yeah, and
yeah,
he
absolutely,
actually
man.
played
He's
decently in England. Again, he was unlucky. The way he got out couple of times was very
hmm.
frustrating, but he did play some one or two knocks. And I feel he's another candidate who can also play away from home, and that will become very important when Sri Lanka will tour South Africa.
I think he was very brave in England because he got a finger injury, a kind of finger fracture, I would say, versus Mark Wood in the first test itself, and then to come back and play all the tests, he was incredible, in fact. But what I was saying is that we thought in England Prabhat Jasuria is the problem because his removal from the test team led to their win in Oval.
Mm.
Because the conditions were not supporting him, so they chose a four-pace attack. But here again, in Sri Lanka, he has proved that he is the boss of
Yeah,
Gaul. You know, and hats off to his consistency and how Dhananjay De Silva has used him and the slip catches he has taken. Like you were mentioning yesterday, there were two different kind of slip catches in that first innings. One was low to the right, where the commentator also praised that
That was
he's so low to the
unbelievable.
ground.
It was that low to the right catch was unbelievable.
And there was then the next ball of Glenn Phillips, it was very high. So Glenn Phillips played a full blooded back foot cut shot, and it came higher than his head height actually, and he was able to still catch that. So he took like two extreme catches just in a space of 3 to 4 balls. So really impressed by Dhananjay De Silva. He's been actually the difference. I wish they had won the Pakistan series and they would have
I was
been
just
way,
gonna
way
come
ahead.
come back and ask you that. Do you know why they still have 56 PCT and not like 60 or 70 like India and Australia? Because they
Yeah,
lost 2-0 at home. And I was
and
checking
that
those scorecards today morning, Shikhar, and I saw that Kamindu Mendes was not part of that series. Instead, Sadira
yeah,
Samaravikrama was playing, and he's a decent player, but he actually failed a lot in that series. And it is
mm,
such a critical spot because we have seen top teams, they have a very dependable guy at 6 or 7. Like India has Ravindra Jadeja, Sri Lanka has
mm,
Mendes, and so Sadira
mm.
Samaravikrama failed in that test series, which probably is one of the reasons why Sri Lanka lost at home. And also, yeah, something weird about that series. Pakistan notched up very big scores. South Shakil,
No,
Abdullah
it
Shakil.
was South Shakil and Naseem Shah's partnership. Actually, they were going to win that test match, first test match. And if they would have won that first test match, then they would have probably won the
Second
second
test,
test match also.
they faced
But
ignominy
South
because
Shakil
Park
and
wasn't
Naseem
ready.
Shah's partnership, that hurt them a lot actually.
Hmm.
Otherwise, they would have been
But
runners.
then Sri
And
Lanka went to Bangladesh and won 2-0 there, which is also a difficult thing to
hmm,
do. And
yeah, yeah.
then the third series was England, where they were hot and cold. In the second test, they disappointed me, but they still
Actually,
managed
they
to win
could
the
have
last
won the
test.
first test in England. They could have won that first test.
We really
Yeah,
hope
that
them.
they could have won that first test. I thought
The problem was every
they.
time you have 60 for 4, or every time. And
Hmm,
Karunaratne disappointed the most because he is a senior player and he
absolutely.
and Jasurya praised him so much before the series, but he didn't deliver.
And they should have. I don't know who was the opener. They were playing Madhushka or someone
Yeah,
in
no, he
that
did not
England.
look ready for, especially for away
Yeah,
tests. Yeah.
if they would have just stuck with Patum Nisanka from
Hmm.
the start, I think they could have won that series also. That and man, Sanat Jayasuriya, wow, man, I love the way actually he spoke with Sabah Karim after that India Sri Lanka series. It was so impressive the way he
Yeah,
speaks. He says that I just try to tell them to play aggressive cricket, and
that's his nature
Sri
too.
Lanka has Sri Lanka has done that, man. I mean, they have played aggressive cricket. Chandimal, even Matthews has been so vital. Like,
Hmm.
I honestly thought when England taught Sri Lanka 2, 3 years back, when they also came to India, I honestly thought Matthews was done. He was getting out in 30s and 40s. He
Hmm.
was getting those starts, and but he has played such a vital role in the middle order, always scoring vital 50s
Yeah.
and allowing
The
other
only
batsmen to
problem with
play around
Matthews
him.
is that he doesn't sometimes show a fifth gear, which Chandimal has. That's why I actually
Hmm.
really am a big fan of Dinesh Chandimal over Matthews, because Matthews, I've
Hmm.
again seen, I think there was one big innings in England, it was 70 of 200. So again, you can see the
Hmm.
strike rate. While Chandimal operates at 55 strike rate. So that's like
Hmm.
much higher. But again, Shikhar, in this series, we could
Hmm.
not see Asitha's impact, but I want to also mention about his
Hmm.
talent. Today, so when this Phillips and Santa were having a partnership, captain finally was like, okay, Asitha, you go bowl some overs. And man, that was just like maybe few overs, but what a spell it was. That guy gave his heart away. He bowled a bouncer, he bowled a
Hmm.
reverse swinging Yorker to Santner. And
Yeah,
it was
that just missed the stumps. I saw that
he's so
during.
talented, and like when they'll go to South Africa, he will have a big role. I'm just also want Lahiru to be in the mix with him, because he has
Yeah.
pace and Asita has variations, so those two
I mean,
combinations really good.
Asita is a consistent performer, but I think Lahiru was the one who made the difference.
Oh, in
When
the
they
last test
won it
win against England, yeah,
last test win.
definitely.
Yeah, he's
He
the
destroyed,
gas man. People call him the gas man because
because he was
he has the gas.
intent,
He
yeah.
has the gas man, and that's why he's very important. And I
And you
hope
need a bowler in test match who can bowl consistently over 140, so Gasman can do that. They all, I don't know why they
and
never tried the other guy, who gets injured a lot. Why has he not played in Test?
exactly, that's what I was saying, that Sri Lanka now has a very good bowling depth for toes to South Africa or
Yeah,
Australia. Because they
Australia will
have.
be coming home, by the way, for the last.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So they have Dushmanta Chamira. They have that left armer Dilshan Madhushanka
yeah.
is there. So Pramod Madhushan. did well in the World Cup, I think ODI World Cup. So they have good bowling depth now.
But again, we have seen most of these in the white ball format. We don't know who can
Yeah.
translate better to the Test cricket. Asita surely is one find. Vishwa is decent.
Yes.
He's hot and cold.
Vishwa was critical in that Oval Test because
Yeah,
what happened to Vishwa was in the first test he was not bowling full enough. He was bowling lot of short balls, but if you see, he dismissed two key wickets of Joe Root and Harry Brook in that Oval win. So
yeah.
that was, I think, he's a good bowler. He was also part of that South Africa series win in South Africa,
Hmm.
and wish to see some more venues now in Sri Lanka. That's the only thing, because they are very dominant in Galle, but I want to see some more venues in Sri Lanka. And today I was just checking. There is another record that so Sri Lanka has scored 500 plus totals versus 9 teams, and that's the highest till now. It's not India, Australia, or England, or
Wow.
Pakistan or South Africa. It's Sri Lanka who has scored the most 500 plus totals versus 9 teams.
And
And
I can believe that
Afghanistan,
stat because early 2000 Sri Lanka used to be a nightmare place for other teams. I remember
yeah,
they used to dominate so well at home. Yeah, even if you
hmm,
remember that series against South Africa where Jayawardene and Sangakkara just batted whole day, they
yeah.
notched that partnership. They were very formidable at home.
So Afghanistan and Australia are the only teams left against which Sri Lanka has not posted a 500 plus total. And
Coming soon.
Sri Lanka has now beaten New Zealand like 6 times at goal without losing to them even once. So
Wow.
that's also a record, and it is only Australia who has beaten uh, Pakistan at Perth. So Australia has never lost to Pakistan. They have a 6-0 record at Perth, and also there is some other country. I think it's South Africa versus Sri Lanka at Centurion. So they have also won. So there's also some interesting stats I wanted to share with our viewers. By the way, I want to thank our viewers for giving all the love to us, and we actually love Sri Lankan cricket a lot, and we support Sri Lankan cricket a lot. We have
We even
some
like Sri Lanka's women team who will be following in the women's ODI World, women's
we
T20
have
World
some
Cup.
terrified memories from the 90s about Sri Lankan teams, and Sanat Jayasurya's 189 and the 96 World Cup
And to
finals.
your point, like
So
you want to see more variations in the home pitches, right? I want to see one
hmm,
venue for like a fast bowlers as well. And they have the depth now. So
yeah,
for against a weaker team, they can definitely try to do that. Like remember
hmm,
how when Kohli was creating an arsenal of fast bowlers, they experimented this first on Bangladesh in that fast pitch in Bangalore.
hmm,
So that's
hmm,
how Sri Lanka should also try to maybe when you have Afghanistan or Bangladesh over, try to put a
yeah,
fast pitch and also develop some more because other if you
yeah.
won't give these fast bowlers a continuous practice, then away tours will be very difficult for them. They have the talent now, and they should do that.
So Pratik, now if you see, so Sri Lanka has can beat Australia at home for sure,
Yeah,
and we
I mean
and
it will be challenging, but they should like yeah.
they should be beating West Indies away. I think they should be beating West Indies
No, no,
away.
they have only two series left. One is they both tough tours, South Africa tour and the Australia tour at home.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, they are not. Oh, Bangladesh is going to West Indies. Sorry,
yeah, it's
I missed
Bangladesh.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens and whether they can pull off a miracle, and it can it be a India Sri Lanka
And it's funny
final?
that Sri Lanka is the I think only team who has won a series in South Africa or something because India and Pakistan
Hmm.
haven't done that, or maybe it's
Yeah,
India who
yeah,
has not done that.
right, right.
So
It's only Sri Lanka who has won
yeah, only Sri
only
Lanka.
Asian
Pakistan
team
and
to
India
win.
have drawn, but Sri Lanka has won.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
And
yes,
also, it's time for the ICC to give Sri Lanka three match series because they are consistently coming three or
yeah,
four in the World Test Championship cycle. And I'm just thinking
yeah,
about like that series against Pakistan. Maybe if there was a third test, they would have at least
yeah,
won something. So they high time they need to get
absolutely.
more matches. All right.
Yeah, we'll be tracking the Sri Lanka's progress to WTC, and thank you guys for giving all your love to our channel, and would request all of you to please subscribe our channel, and we'll be bringing more content for Sri Lanka cricket in the future. Thanks, Pratik, and thank you guys. Take care. Good night.